In a vast and bustling forest, a tiny ant lived with her colony. At just half an inch long, she seemed like the smallest creature in the entire forest. But what she lacked in size, she made up for with incredible strength, determination, and heart. This is the story of how the ant proved that true strength doesn't always come from size, but from the power within. The ant had always been different from the other ants in her colony. While the bigger ants could carry heavy leaves and twigs without breaking a sweat, the little ant was often given smaller tasks. She didn't mind she worked hard and did everything with the same dedication. But one day, as she was carrying a small grain of rice back to the colony, a strong wind blew through the forest, knocking her off her path. The ant stumbled and fell, losing the rice grain she had struggled so hard to bring home. The ant sat in the dirt, feeling defeated. She looked at the large ants, effortlessly lifting massive branches, and began to doubt herself. Why can't I be as strong as them? She wondered. I'm just too small. But deep down, something inside her stirred a quiet voice, telling her not to give up. The ant wasn't a quitter. She got up, brushed off the dirt, and decided to try again. This time, she remembered something her mother had told her when she was just a little larva. Strength isn't just about what you can lift. It's about the will to keep going when things get tough. With renewed determination, the ant found the grain of rice, even though it had rolled far away. She carried it with great effort, inch by inch. The wind blew harder, but the ant didn't falter. She reached the colony and triumphantly placed the grain at the entrance. The other ants watched in awe, impressed by her perseverance and courage. "How did you do that?" asked one of the larger ants, who had been struggling with a much bigger load. The ant smiled and replied, "It's not about how big or strong you are. It's about the strength within you. When you believe in yourself and keep pushing forward, there's nothing you can't do." The other ants began to realize that the little ant had something that none of them had considered before: a quiet, unshakable belief in herself. They had always relied on their size, their ability to lift the heaviest loads. But the little ant had shown them that true strength wasn't just physical. It was mental, emotional, and spiritual too. As the seasons changed and the forest grew colder, the colony faced new challenges. There were fewer food sources, and many of the bigger ants struggled to find enough to eat. However, the little ant's unbreakable resolve inspired her fellow ants. They started to look within themselves and discovered that they, too, had hidden strengths waiting to be tapped into. They began to work together, share resources, and keep their spirits high even when the going got tough. The little ant's act of persistence had ignited something much bigger than just the success of bringing home a grain of rice seed. It had sparked a change in the entire colony's mindset. As the winter months passed, the colony not only survived but thrived, all thanks to the lessons they learned from the little ant. They discovered that strength isn't just about muscle power. It's about resilience, determination, and the inner will to keep going despite obstacles. The little ant, though small, had shown them all that the real strength lies within the heart and mind. The true power comes from believing in yourself and never giving up, no matter how small or insignificant you may feel. Everyone in the colony now knew the strength within you was the most powerful force of all. This story is a beautiful reminder of the power of perseverance and self-belief. Whether you are facing a personal challenge or an obstacle at work, the journey of the little ant teaches us that true strength comes from within. When you face difficulties, it's not your physical strength that will see you through, but your inner strength, your belief in yourself, and your willingness to keep moving forward. Remember, even the smallest of us can make the biggest impact. Just like the little ant, you have the strength within you to overcome anything that comes your way.